This code lets you scrape YouTube without even having to open your browser. Now I'm going to show you how does this work. I'm going to show you what does this do. First, you can enter any string or anything that you want to search. For now, I can show you by searching anything you want. And if I search this, for now, what I'm trying to get here is the video ID of the videos that are being displayed on the YouTube search page, and also the thumbnails of the videos along with it. So if I click on any of the thumbnail and I try to open it, you would see this is the thumbnail that I get. And if I go back to the videos or to the search page, you would see this is the first link, or this is the first video that shows up when we search this term. Alright, for this code or for this little project, you would be needing 4 modules. Now, if you're not familiar with BeautifulSoup, you can watch the previous video that I made on BeautifulSoup and how you can scrape the web from it. However, if you're experienced with BeautifulSoup, you can feel free to forward this video to the part that you want to view. Moving along, first we want to create a response object. Now, how do you create a response object? Is you make a request to the website, and this request returns a response object in the form of an HTML structure or status codes or any information that is available regarding the website that you want to scrape. Now, what is the website that I want to scrape? For now, I want to scrape YouTube, but not just YouTube, but the YouTube search results page. Now, how do you do that? You can go to the URL of the search page. You would see that the URL is a little bit different from how you see the official youtube.com URL. What you're doing here is that you're pasting a URL which has a search term attached to it saying anything you want. If I go back to this website and if I change anything to everything you want, this will reflect in the search bar, and that's how we can manipulate our code to search anything on the web or anything on YouTube for this video. Alright, moving back to the code. I want to convert this response object into text. You would say why? It's because I want to create a BeautifulSoup instance out of this response object. Now the reason why BeautifulSoup takes only string is because we can use string functions on the HTML structure that we would be getting in this response object. Now, for those of you who don't know what LXML is actually a parser, and what it does, it converts the gibberish code into something that is more understandable. Also, this video is divided into 2 parts. First being the scraping part, which we are going to be getting our hands dirty with now, and the second would be the parsing, which would be getting rid of the things that are unnecessary to us and turning what the data we have into something much more readable and understandable. Now, since we have got soup, what we can do is first we have to make out what do we have to find. And to do that, you can go to the YouTube web page and you can bring up the inspector, the element inspector, and hover over the thing that you want to have in your code. I would try to search for this whole video. So right here, if I click, you can see this video, or this is the thing that I need. This whole video and its information is situated under another tag which is called YTD video renderer. So in order to get the information of everything that we see over here, with every video, we have to find the YTD video renderer tag of every video that is enlisted on this page. Alright, but that's not how easy it is. First of all, we would have to find where does this YTD video renderer lies in this BeautifulSoup object. In order to do that, I'm going to turn this BeautifulSoup object into a text file, and we can then find anything that we need from it. So I've successfully created a script.txt, and in this we have the whole HTML structure of the YouTube search results. I'm going to get rid of my terminal over here and show you that what do we need to find over here. As you saw in the inspector element, we needed YTD video renderer, but in this document you won't find YTD video renderer. Instead, what you would find is just a video renderer. Alright, easy. But you cannot directly extract this data how it is, because this is not an HTML tag right here. this is inside a JSON string, and what it looks like is something like a nested dictionary in which there are nested lists and tuples, etc. So we would want to find under which tag does this whole nested dictionary and tuples are situated inside. So if I scroll back up, you would see this is a script tag over here. We can say that the JSON file or the JSON string or JSON data is inside the script tag. And in order to extract the JSON data, we would have to find the script tag first. Now how we can do that? Before finding the script tag or getting to find the script tag, we would have to find what position does this script tag have in this text file. Now what do I mean by what position? What I mean is there are multiple script tags over here. So what number of script tag is this? That's my major concern. What I can do is select it and use Ctrl F. Now you see this is the 33rd element or the 33rd tag from all the script tags. Since we would be using the findAll function which returns a list, so then we would have to use an index number, and that index number would be 32 instead of 33, because using index number you also consider the 0th element or the 0th index. This looks good, but let's see if it works. Well, this does look like a JSON formatted string or data. So we are going on the right path. Now, this is not enough. What we want to do is get only the JSON data from it. And what do I mean only the JSON data? What I mean is I want the string to start from here and get rid of everything that is unnecessary, which includes this whole thing. So in order to get rid of the script tag and everything else along with it, what we can do is write code that uses the regular expressions. What you can do is copy this whole code and paste it here. To be honest, I don't completely understand everything that has been said in this code or that has been displayed over here. But since I found this on Stack Overflow, I've linked the answer containing this code in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself as well. But so far, what I understand is it gets rid of anything that consists YT initial data and before it, and also it gets rid of the parse at the end of the data. Since we have got the JSON string now, what we can do is convert this JSON text, that is the JSON string, into a JSON data. And what is a JSON data? That's nothing much more than just nested dictionaries, tuples, and etc. having key value pairs with information stored inside them. But this is not enough. We won't be able to find the things that we need just using JSON data right here. So what we can do is go back to our browser. Now here's something that I've set up for the video. This is a JSON formatter. You can find it online. It's pretty easy to find this. I will link the website in the description as well. So what we can do is take this whole JSON string and pass it in this formatter. What this could do is parse it in a way that is very easily understandable and readable, so that we can easily iterate or traverse through the things that we want to grab. I'm trying to take all this JSON text into a text file named script.txt. Let me run the code, and I hope the script.txt consists this JSON data. And here it is. This whole data is actually a big JSON string. So we can copy this JSON string. We can go back to this website and paste it over here. After pasting it, you can click on process, parse everything into a neatly structured manner so that it is more readable and understandable for us. Alright, here we go. So when we started out, I told you that we would have to find YTD video renderer. But right now just we encountered that it's not the YTD video renderer that we are looking for in the JSON file, but it's the video renderer that we are looking for. So if I scroll down just a bit, you would see that this is a key value pair, and the contents being the key and the whole dictionary of information being its value. It is indented one below each other. So this is how we are going to be traversing through all the contents that we need. And if you come down a little bit further, you would see that the video renderer that we were looking for is present inside this contents key or below this contents key. And inside the video renderer, you would find the video ID of the video. If you plug this video ID after a specific video YouTube URL, then you can go to the video that this video ID points to. Then we have thumbnails, we have the title, we have everything else that you want is present over here. So you can go ahead and scrape anything you want. But for now, in this video, I would only be scraping the thumbnail and the video ID to show you how you can do the same with any other thing that you want from this. Coming back to our code, I want to get rid of this right now. Since we have a JSON data and we want to access content, what I would do is traverse through everything from contents until video renderer. And I'll show you how you do that. Now what I want to show you is what I've done right here. First I've accessed contents, the key, then the 2 columns search result renderer, that is another key which consists a value of dictionary, and inside there is another key, and so on. But after contents right here, I've used the index number 0. It's because the value for this key is actually a list. You would see this opening bracket, the square bracket, indicates list. Now, in order to access the first element of the list, that is the item section renderer, I would have to use the 0th element to first access the dictionary of the list. After I've accessed the dictionary of the list, I can access the key in the dictionary, and just like everything above, I can access contents over here. We do have the video renderer right here inside a dictionary that is again inside a list. The reason why I haven't accessed this list right here is because it starts from here and it ends here. So if I wanted to search for something else, something beyond the URL of the thumbnails like title, accessibility, etc., then it would become a little bit tricky for me to do it. But traversing until here will get the job done for us. So the scraping part is nearly over. Now what we are left with is actually parsing the data. Now, as I said earlier, parsing means just getting rid of the unnecessary things that you have in your data and presenting it in a manner that is easily readable and understandable. So since content is a list, first I want to find what type of data content is. If I print, it says a list. So in order to access a list, we would use for data in content. This is how you access a list using for loop. And inside this list, we have video renderer that is inside a dictionary. Now we would have to access a dictionary using the for loop. So to do that, we would use the key and value as temporary variables. That's what I would like to call these things. In data.items. Now the items method or the items function for dictionary is used to work with the keys and values of a dictionary simultaneously. I would go ahead and use an if statement to filter out the values that are again dictionary. And right now we can traverse through this dictionary using the code something like this. So we have accessed the key, the value, and the dictionaries and everything below it. We have accessed contents. Then again we have accessed this video renderer's value. Now what we are left with is the video ID. So just to make sure, we can print K and V to know what do we have in our hands. I have video ID as a key and value pair, and thumbnail as key and value pair. So yes, somewhere right here, this is what we are accessing right now. So closing this, what I can do is extract video ID and the thumbnail using if statements, and I'll show you how you do that. Alright, our code, scraping and parsing, everything is nearly done. All I need to do is explain what does this if statements do. What I'm trying to ask is if the key is video ID right here and its value consists of 11 characters, then print value. That means then print the video ID. And right after that, I'm using the K and I'm checking it across with thumbnail. Let me just correct this. Right. I'm checking it with if my key is thumbnail and I have thumbnails inside my dictionary. So what we can do is, since these two conditions meet, we can print v thumbnails. That is, we are going to traverse through this list, get the 0th element, that is the first dictionary that we see over here. If I would have mentioned 1 right here, we would be getting this element. So after we have got the first element from the list, what we can do is access this dictionary, and the key that we are going to be accessing would be the URL, because the URL has the link that is attached to the thumbnail of the video. And in this way you can print or store this information around or do anything that you need with it. So after we've done scraping YouTube for the data and parsing the data for everything that we need, what we now have to do is create a user input prompt through which a user would be able to input the search string or query that he wants, and this program would search YouTube for the provided search string. So what we can do is get up here and create a new variable called search. Now in this variable we would store the input that we would be getting from the user. As you can see, I've used another function called split, and in the parentheses of the split I have provided white spaces as an argument. Now what this does is creates a list from the string that we are passing into it, and in the string every word that is separated by a white space would be considered as an individual element. I'll show you how this works. So if I go back here and if I print search, and since I've run the command, you see this is my search string and this is the list generated using the split function. Okay, so since we have got that, we want to convert this string into something like this. So what we can do is use the join function. Let's create another variable called query, and here I can use the join function to actually concatenate the individual elements from the list in search and replace the white spaces with this plus sign. After we've done that, what I have done is converted this whole thing into an F string, and using these braces I've provided this query right over here. So whatever we search for, it generates a YouTube search link, and using this link you can scrape the data and parse it and show everything that we need on the terminal. So since that's done, the whole program is complete and I can go ahead and run it. Since there is no title over here, what we can do to cross check is go back to YouTube, and let's see if these thumbnails match with the list of thumbnails that we have right here. So I can control plus click on any of this link, and you see this is on the search page. This may not be in order, so you don't have to worry about that if things are not in order. That happens with me all the time. As far as I know that this method works, and if you have any better method, you can please feel free to suggest in the comment section below.